My name is Yehuda Glick, and I've been elected as the new representative in the Parliament of Israel, the Knesset, on the Likud list. The Likud is the list of the party that is actually right now been elected and Prime Minister of Israel, Prime Minister Netanyahu, and we are the biggest party in the Israeli Parliament, 30 seats of 120. I've been involved in the past more than a decade in putting or raising the awareness of the central role that Jerusalem and in general, and especially the Temple Mount, plays in Jewish history, in Jewish heritage, and not only Jewish heritage. We think that the Temple Mount has a goal. It should be the house of prayer for all nations. It should be a world center for peace, for calling in the name of the one and only God. And therefore we're trying to get people to unite and to come to the Temple Mount, and that the Temple Mount should be a place, instead of being what it sometimes is, a place of incitement, of hate, it should be a place of love and peace, and a place of calling in the name of the one and only God. It should be a house of prayer for all nations. And this is what mostly I am involved in.
You are also an activist for the Temple Mount.
Yes, I'm very active.
Can you tell me something about that?
Yeah, you're probably aware that in 1967 Israel managed to reunite Jerusalem. Jerusalem was divided, and we reunited it and turned it into one big city. And ever since then, the population has been growing, and it's a mixed population, Jews and Arabs. But what's most important is that the Temple Mount returned to be an open place for all who want to visit there. Unfortunately, or due to the tolerance of the Israeli people, we allowed prayer only for one religion, the Muslims. But the Temple Mount is a place which is sanctified for all religions, for all believers in the Bible, and therefore we are mostly involved in bringing back about, because what happened in many of the Muslim fundamentalistic leaders actually turned the Temple Mount compound into a place where they promote hate, terror, incitement. And this situation, we believe, it happens because others do not usually come to the Temple Mount. And what we're trying to do is raise the Temple Mount heritage, because the Temple Mount, according to the Bible, is the only place where God says He rested His divine presence there. And so what we have been involved in is teaching about the Temple Mount, lecturing about the Temple Mount, and encouraging people to come and visit the Temple Mount. We've actually published a book about the Temple Mount. We've Arise and Ascend, and we've also trained guides to the Temple Mount.
What about the third temple? Will that be the only building on the Temple Mount?
We try not to deal with predicting the future.
Okay.
We deal with right now what we can change and what we can implement in the present. The present situation is a situation that has to change. A situation in where people who are not Muslims are accepted very, I would say we're lacking any kind of hospitality, is a situation that has to change. And this is what we're trying to work on in the present time.
אמיל, הצלנו אותך עכשיו מזה.
Can you tell me a little bit about you, about the assassination?
There was an attempt. My activity dealing with the Temple Mount has been going on ever since 2005. For 4 years I was the director of the Temple Institute. And I more became involved in bringing about people to the Temple Mount. So ever since 2008, we had an annual event every single year in Jerusalem, which we celebrated in honor of the Temple Mount. In 2014, October 29, 2014, at the end of our event, there were 300 people who came, and it was really a wonderful event. Many dignified people ministers, members of parliament, rabbis. And at the end of the conclusion of the event, everybody went home, and I was like there carrying stuff out of the place where it took place, the Begin Center. And as I approached the car, my wife was sitting in the car. A person pulled over to me on his motorcycle, approaches me. He said, "I'm sorry," and he gets close to me and he takes out his pistol and he shoots 4 bullets to the center of my body, point blank, from 30 centimeters away. And I had 4 bullets that had hit me in the center of my body.
Controversial Jewish activist Yehuda Glick left Menachem Begin Heritage Center with politician Moshe Feichlein after giving a presentation on Wednesday night. According to Feichlein, Glick was loading some posters in the back of his vehicle when a man on a motorcycle drove by and asked the rabbi whether he was Glick. After he responded yes, the man shot him multiple times. The shooting sparked a manhunt for the assailant. Israeli police surrounded a 3-story house in the Abu Tor neighborhood. When counterterrorism forces reached the rooftop, the suspect fired on them. The policeman fired back, killing the suspect on the spot.
Thanks to the Israeli medical system, thanks to many, many prayers from all over the world, people, Jews and non-Jews, thanks to my wife, I'm back on my feet, I'm alive. I arrived at the hospital in a critical situation. My blood pressure was going down, and it was looked like I really didn't have too much chance to survive. But thank God the bullets managed to miss what they had to miss. I presently still have a lot of lung problems, but on a regular basis I function quite healthfully. But in my eyes, that was a moment where God had actually embraced me and said, "Yehuda, your vision and your mission is not over yet." And he actually opened my heart to the understanding that we have to do whatever we can to bring the message of peace, the message of Jerusalem to the world. And that's what I'm involved in. The organization that I was in charge of, I was director of the Temple Mount Heritage Foundation, is still involved. And we have people from around the world who are supporting what we're doing, because it's not something private, it's something that really we were referring to people and requesting people to take part in what we're doing. And so I'm happy to say that now the Temple Mount Heritage Foundation, as soon as I became a member of Knesset, I had to leave the job there. So we have now a new director, but still we want to connect, and we want people to connect to the Temple Mount, and the foundation lives only by the contributions of people who voluntarily support it.
Can you tell me something about your vision about the two-state solution?
No, I don't refer to any vision of a two-state solution. I think the option of a two-state solution is way behind us. That I think anybody who is realistic understands that the two-state option doesn't exist anymore, is behind us. What we have to do is look forward. And today there's one big state, it's called Israel. And we have to, of course, confront all the challenges. We have to make sure how we refer to Palestinian minorities. We have to really understand how we give human rights to everybody. But this is one Israel Jewish state. And it really is, it's a miracle to understand how God promised us He will scatter us around the world and He will gather us back home. And I don't think there's any other nation in the world in the history of mankind that was uprooted from its homeland and returned back to the homeland. And here we can see the words of the prophets coming out of the book, materializing and becoming reality. And it's the only place in the world where you can see it.
Do you encourage building in Samaria and Judea?
We've returned back home to our homeland to build, to develop, to raise, to grow. This is what we're here for. We're here not to ruin anymore. We're here to develop, to promote, to advance the beautiful phenomena called redemption of the world, and where the Jewish people become light to the nations. And that's what we're here for. And one of the main things is building children playing in the playgrounds, elderly walking in the streets, and all connected to the one and only God.
If I'm right, you had a statement of Israel. Everybody can stay if he becomes the nationality of Israel.
No. Well, I said that all Jews, according to the law of return, are welcome to come to Israel. Minorities that are living here, we have to give them human rights. Those who want citizenship have to show that they were not involved in any terror activity. And those who want to leave, we can help them out and start a new life wherever they want to move to.
What's your opinion about BDS in Europe?
Blessings is B, development is D, S is support of God, and we are here to bring a message of light. We're here to bring a message of peace, and we're here to embrace anybody who wants to support the return. As God said to Abraham, I will bless all those who bless you, and those who curse you will be cursed. And therefore I don't think that any kind of means of, any kind of delegitimizing Israel, any kind of activity that is actually disguised anti-Semitic activity should be prevented, because anybody knows Israel is the most moral land, most moral state in the world, in the entire world.
What's the first thing you will do? You are the next Prime Minister.
I'm not the next Prime Minister, and I'm not. I don't have any aspirations of being a prime minister, and I try not to answer hypothetical questions. I think that what we have to do is bring light, and we have to add light and add good, and do whatever we can to develop the land of Israel, to develop the, I would say, the solidarity of people in Israel, and the relationship between Israel and the other nations, relationship between Israel and the other religions, and we have to develop a unique, united society, a society that refers to each other, listening to others, corresponding with others, cooperating with others. This is what we're here for. We're here to become light to the nations.
I have, in your personal life, you have a nice family, and you have...
I agree.
But you have also adopted 2 children.
Right, we have...
Can you tell me something about that?
I'm married to my wife, a wonderful wife, Yafi. We have 8 children. 2 of them we have adopted a few years ago, 7 years ago. After we saw that God has been really blessing us and filling our lives with blessing and prosperity, and really He's given us so much. And so at a certain point we said we want to do something also. And we began the process of adopting 2 girls. And we've been raising them ever since. And I hope that we're doing, I hope we're serving Him the way He expects from us. And I pray that we will continue sanctifying His name by our activity.
What about the Haliba Coalition? What's that?
Haliba was the organization that I ran the Temple Mount Heritage Foundation. One of the projects of the Temple Mount Heritage Foundation was Haliba. Haliba is an acronym in Hebrew for the initiative for Jewish freedom on Temple Mount. And the concept was freedom. The concept was human rights. The concept was respecting every human being as a human being. And the word liba in Hebrew also means heart. We wanted the Temple Mount to be a heart of nations. We were bringing people, busloads of people, to the Temple Mount. And we were really advocating peace on the Temple Mount, as the Temple Mount should become a heart for all mankind. Only improving We are improving and improving. You look back at the land of Israel 10 years ago, we've made major progress. 10 years from now, we will be continuing making major progress. The way it's up, down. Sometimes we have obstacles, but mainly we're going to go and make progress and really bring more and more people to see the light of God in the world.
What's your dream?
My dream,
Yes.
that the entire world recognizes the fact that we are all one big choir. We're all one big orchestra. Though some people play different instruments, we're all one big mosaic. Each stone has a different color, but we're here all to serve God. And therefore I want each and every one of you to be a flame in the menorah of God. Bring His light to your friends, to your relatives, to your neighbors, and connect to the heritage of the Temple Mount, the heritage of peace in the name of God, the heritage of God created all of us, and we have a mission, and the mission is bringing His name in the world. And I hope we can do that more and more, talk to people about that, and get people connected to the one and only God. I send you all the viewers blessings from Jerusalem. And it's so wonderful to see people around the world who support Israel. And sometimes we get the feeling that Israel doesn't have many friends around the world. We have many friends around the world. And it's hard to believe 100 years ago that there would be Christians who would be supporting Israel. And here we see millions and millions around the world. And so we see that what God promised us is happening. And therefore, let us continue being part of implementing that blessing of God to the world. And I invite everybody to connect to the Temple Mount Heritage Foundation, to connect to Jerusalem, city of peace. God's name is Shalom, and Jerusalem is Ir Shalom, city of peace. Connect to God by connecting to Jerusalem, by connecting to peace to the world.